not talking about 10 years. I said 10 years is normal to me. I'm talking about outside of 10 years.
Same.
25-year-old dating a 35. So if a 25-year-old dates a 45, 47-year-old.
Mhm.
Okay. So that's a 20-something difference. One, you have nothing in common. Two, if something happens to him and you're not financially set, you're at the wall. You're not going to get another replacement. If they're saying that your wall is at 40, 45, if you divorce him or something happens and you're 40-something with kids, you are not getting another mate.
No, but to Logic's point, delusion is affecting the wall, though. Like, it really is strongly affecting the wall. Like, let's be honest. You could be delusional and think that you could get XYZ man, and the older you get, you don't change that mindset, and you still think you could get XYZ man. You know, you hitting that wall with a high expectation that you shouldn't have.
And another way that you hit the wall that I think a lot of times is that, kind of to what Logic's point was earlier, is time. Like when you're young, you have a whole different conception of what time looks like. You think that you have so much time. Like when you're in your 20s, you're like, you living life. Like life is just fun. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to live your best life in your 20s. So I think the delusion, you have a lot of delusion about time when you are young and in your 20s. And then when you hit your 30s, you realize, damn, I'm not in my 20s no more. I need to start looking for a mate, you know, and now it's like this hurry to try to meet somebody. And that time is ticking, and now you have I think you come more into reality about how much time you have left once you leave, you know, once you get out of your 20s, and you realize, like, damn, like that wall is you know, creeping up on you. So I also think the delusion isn't just the type of man you think you're gonna get, but also how much time you have to get that man.
I think too, delusion can come into the you know, the whole factor when you trying to aim for a guy and he's breadcrumbing you and you feel like you can change his mind by having sex with him, and you keep on, and now your feelings are involved, and he done spent 2 years of your life trying to catch this man who ain't about to be caught.
Delusional. having a baby, keeping a baby, thinking it's gonna keep a man. Delusional.
Facts.
We should call this the delusional. The delusions of a woman.
Black women delusions.
Exactly.
Oh, they lying if they say they ain't got nobody to marry. Y'all some terrorists.
So you saying that it's 20-year-olds out here trying to get married? Nobody wants to date a 40-year-old. That's just a bad deal. So you're saying that there are 20-year-olds out here wanting to get married.
That is not valid, Shantae. I would not say dating 40-year-olds is a bad deal. I think it's been, you know, it hasn't been normalized for young women to date older.
So let me ask you a question, because I think that it's Six the Guy that's made a good point. If you marry a guy who is 20 years older than you, 25 years older than you, he gets older. I mean, unless he has money, something happens to him later on in life, and you're 40 now, 50, and he's no longer here with you anymore. You are at the wall. You're not getting another mate.
Well, I think
all young years.
The whole point of dating older is because women's biological clock times out a lot sooner than men do. And so when you have younger women that are, you know, available for, you know, stability, the majority of young men are not in the place to where they can, you know, foster and really create a safe space to, you know, have family at a young age. And so, you know, they're pushed out a little bit later. And so 25-year-olds dating 35-year-olds or 40-year-olds that are stable, that are, you know, available.
So I don't think 10 years is bad. I'm talking about when you get into your 40s. 10 years to me is a normal age.
And I think most women date older anyway. Now, I mean, that gap it may be different, but I think for the most part, most women date older.
So I'm not saying that that's not
the average.
I think that's not my argument. I said the gap is I think
20
the
plus.
older is like 5 years.
That's what I said. I think that's probably around the average.
It's not like, because if you're 25 and 30, the ideal 30-year-old man isn't as established as the 40-year-old
I just not be a child.
So I think that they're, it's different. And
so let me ask you a question. So if we're talking about a wall, I'm not talking about 10 years. I said 10 years is normal to me. I'm talking about outside of 10 years.
Same.
25-year-old dating a 35. So if a 25-year-old dates a 45, 47-year-old, okay? So that's a 20-something difference. One, you have nothing in common. Two, if something happens to him and you're not financially set, you're at the wall. You're not going to get another replacement. If they're saying that your wall is at 40, 45, if you divorce him or something happens and you're 40-something with kids, you are not getting another mate.
But do you women not understand? Oh,
but even already had children with that man. She's already so like when you talk about the wall, now the wall is at a different stage because the woman is at a different stage. She's no longer a 25-year-old woman. Now, when her husband has transitioned, she might be 55, 65. So she's not there's no man looking for a fertile woman who is 65 years old. So the wall is very different.
So we're saying the wall is only fertility. It has nothing to do with sexual marketplace.
From my perspective,
the definition,
the wall is relative to the.
You're right. If it has nothing to do with sexual marketplace, then you're absolutely right.
But I think it does include that though. I think sexual marketplace is still relative because people in their 50s could be attracted to a woman that's of season. Like I know people who got married to seasoned women and they both had kids and they came together and they ended up getting married and it still could happen. Is it likely to happen? But it still can.
So I think it's depending on the pool of men that you're looking for. So in your 50s and 60s, you're not, some men shoot their shot and try to go for the 20s, 20-year-olds or whatever. But I think for the most part, I think both men and women, when they hit like middle age, if they're in their 50s and 60s, I also think that they have a more realistic mindset in terms of who they are going to attract. I think it aligns more with what Logic was saying. They realize who's in their, tribe at that point, because most 60-year-old women know that they're not going to have access to a man that looks like, even if he's in his 60s, that he looks like a 20-year-old. That those aren't available.
So I just want to make it
very
clear.
If you look every bit of 60.
Right. So I just want to make it very clear.
Unless you dated Pinkett Mama.
I must make it very clear because the videos I've seen are women who are older, who've had kids, and they saying that because they're not married, they've hit a wall. Those are the videos I've seen.
No.
So it's strictly fertility.
Okay, but this is what you don't understand. I think this is the real disconnect. We might have made this a breakthrough for me.